special guest today, and today we have members of the board for Afognak Native Corporation. Welcome, everybody.
Chamai.
Chamai. Chamai. Okay. Thank you for that, folks at home. I will double check our audio. She can hear it now? Okay, great. Thank you for that, Don. Appreciate it. Okay, so today we have a special, like I said, episode. And today we have some board members and a VP from the ANC Native Corporation. So again, welcome everybody. And why don't we start with everybody introducing themselves in whichever order you'd like.
Koyana Jesse, Chamai. Hui, Alicia Drebeck, Takhatna Achishak, Shunami Sulchayana. I'm Alicia Drebeck. I was born in Kodiak. I'm very happy to be here in Port Lions today. My grandmother was from Afognak village. My dad was raised in Kodiak, but grew up visiting his grandma in Afognak. I serve as the chair of the Afognak Native Corporation Board. I was just recently elected by the board to serve. Excellent. And I've been on the board for just a little over a year. Previously, I was the executive vice president for about 6 years. And I've, born and raised in Kodiak, grew up receiving scholarships all along the way through my journey. And I'm just really proud to continue giving back.
Koyana Chinook, thank you for that so much. Appreciate you having you here, Alicia. Okay, go for it, Tom.
Yeah, Tom Nelson has been my first term here. Been enjoying it here. Born and raised here. I still reside here in Port Lions, and I get to see most everybody daily, which is nice. And I still have the connection here, and it's definitely a learning curve for me. Getting on the board here. Everybody's been pretty helpful from board support. I can't say enough about them for the help that I've gotten, and from other board members too. I mean, there's been some help that might seem trivial, but it means a lot. And I'm looking forward to just, trying to be a voice for our shareholders and just keep a level, trying to keep my aspect over the corporation and look at all shareholders, because I know everybody's different and all needs are different, no matter, even from Port Lions to Kodiak and Anchorage especially, or Seattle. Every place has a different need. It's just that here it's a little different here. Many don't understand the cost of freight or even just living here. If you take milk, for example, it's probably $3 a gallon to buy it, but you're paying $7-8. If you consider add in freight,
right?
It gets tough that people don't. They might not realize it, but
for sure,
I'm enjoying it, and I just hope to continue on. And I know I can't be disappointment free. I'm going to disappoint somebody or some shareholders, but I'm definitely going to try keep everybody in mind the best I could.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, but thank you everybody that helped put me here.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Tom. We appreciate it, and congratulations on being elected to the ANC board.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Marcy.
Okay, thanks. And I'm Marcy Orth, and I'm known as Moshka to many in the village, which I do love. And I spent the first 5 years of my life in Afognak, and I really feel like that brings something special to the board. It just brings something special, being able to share the memories and have that recollection of where we really came from, what our roots are, what hard work means, and camaraderie and community. And I will share, since we're sharing, I went with my dad in the rowboat to meet Tommy when he came to Afognak when he was born.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty fun. And then I went to elementary school in this building here. And my husband Hal and we come back every summer and spend time out on the water. And every year we come a little bit longer and a little bit longer, because there's really, to me, no place like being home and the connections and the love I feel from everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank
you for that, Marcy. Appreciate having you here. Hi, Christy.
Hi, good to see you, Jess.
Good to see you.
Yeah, Chamai. Thanks for
Chamai.
having us today. I'm Christy Clement, and I've been on the Afognak board since 2016.
Oh,
It's been a while,
Wow.
and Sir got the pleasure to serve as the chair for about 8 years, and then Alicia stepped in, and now I've been serving as the vice chair, and it's just
Okay.
been an honor. I serve on a couple other boards in the Washington State area, and my day job is CEO of Alaska Fisheries Development Foundation,
oh, cool.
which has been really fun. It's been just a lot of work, a lot of challenge, but making some meaningful impacts across the state of Alaska and our coastal communities, which has been pretty awesome.
Sure.
So, yeah, but I was born at the clinic here in Port Lions
That's
and
awesome.
raised here between here and Kodiak. And like Marcy, I'm looking forward to spending more time at home and going to make the share the exciting news that I'm actually going to have a home here. So I'm going to plan to spend more time at home.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, we'd love to see more of you here
Awesome.
for sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I'll pass it over to Malia.
Excellent. Thank you, Christy. How are you, Marcy?
well.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
Malia.
Chamai, Jess,
Chamai.
it's nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here on such a gorgeous day as well. So, my name is Malia. I serve as the Senior Vice President of Community Investments and have been in service of ANC since 2017, so just almost a decade now. Hey, but I'm a shareholder. My grandmother was Mary Maya Anderson, Mary Anderson Cove. Bay is named for her, and I have yet to get out there, but I look forward to seeing that beautiful place soon. She was one of the postmistresses. We've had many postmistresses out on Afognak, and I think of her very often and miss her very much, but really excited to serve and push forward that legacy that so many have laid out. I've got my son who's here, and we're going to head to camp later today, and it's just such a joy to really see these young people, and I thank you for your contribution to exposing the young folks to communications and to telling our stories in that way. And so that's what I'm just here to support and learn. And I also serve on the NVA Tribal Council, so it's a real honor to be in NVPL's building and to see what we can do to leverage across the region. Many hats at this table and elsewhere. So thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you so much, Malia. We appreciate having you here, and thank you all for introducing yourselves. It's a pleasure, on behalf of NVPL, to have you on here. This is the first time I've had so many guests at once. Normally it's one or two, right? But we have had several leaders from the community and even from Kodiak. We've had the borough mayor on. We've had the mayor of Kodiak. Obviously, the mayor here with Dorinda has come in, and actually I'm trying to get her to come back on to talk about what's going on, with the city here this summer.
Nice.
But so to begin, what brings you folks out to Port Orleans? I know we have you all have a connection here, and I'm grateful for that. But this trip in particular, what's going on?
Yeah, we're very excited that today we did a service project out on Peregrine Point. We went to the beach and we did a cleanup. There was, I think, maybe 25, 30 people came, and we spent the whole morning picking up plastic waste, bits of debris that had washed ashore, tumbled in with the seaweed. There was some tide pooling. There were some kids that joined. We had, we brought our own lunches, celebrated a little bit of time together, and then hiked back out. So it's been a beautiful day in the sun. And now we're happy to end our day here with you.
Awesome.
And then several of us are going to go over to Dig-a-Fognak camp and spend some time at the shareholder camp.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, we appreciate that. And so for the folks at home and the folks here in the studio, we can see, I brought up some pictures for you all to check out here that Malia sent me. Beautiful day. My goodness.
It was. And can I just add, our CEO, Dan, was there with his children.
Oh, really?
And for me, that was so fun. They are from Virginia, and to watch these kids, grabbing the eels and the hermit crab and the starfish and just watching them race up the rocks that we used to do. It was cool because, what a different world for them. And their oldest boy, he said, I'm going to move to Alaska.
Really?
He likes
Oh,
it here,
cool.
yes.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Well, no, and for the folks at home here, here's a picture of the whole group cleaning. Were you guys at Paragribney today?
Yes.
Okay. So gorgeous beach here. Anybody who's been there, hopefully it wasn't too dirty, right? I don't
No.
see a giant pile of trash there. So we try and keep it clean.
Yeah.
And shout out to Willie Nelson who planned this and has facilitated these cleanups for a while now. So thank you, Willie. Shout out to you, brother. And yeah, he does a really good job and we appreciate him. So thank you, Willie.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so I just wanted to ask you guys a few basic questions and feel free to chime in, whoever's comfortable, about how you got involved. Well, first of all, let me do this. Let me backtrack a little bit. And I wanted to say congratulations to Brian Kewen, who it wasn't able to be here, Tom, obviously, being elected, and then Marcy. Congratulations on being reelected. So we appreciate having you guys here.
And Loretta Nelson also.
And Loretta. Okay. And thank you for that, Alicia. So, and congrats to Loretta for on her reelection as well. And so it's interesting when I was looking at this and prepping for the show, several of us have a work history together, which I thought was kind of cool. I know Malia and I have worked together. I'm most of the time indirectly. Alicia was my boss's boss. Tom was a boss of mine as well, once upon a time. So anyway, it's really cool to see you guys in leadership roles. And I have deep respect for each one of you. And Christy, I appreciate you. Marcy, it's a pleasure to have you here. And I'm grateful. And I know that we'll add some good content today and some value to people's day. So thank you so much. And congratulations to the electees.
Yeah.
So to start, we can really go so many directions from here. But one thing I wanted to talk about and how, feel free to talk about whatever you like in this subject. But one thing that ANC does that I don't think gets enough exposure is the contributions to this tribe in particular. And I know there's donations made yearly and also other funds from the golf tournament, the charity golf tournament that you guys put on. So would anyone like to chime in on that, talk about that a little bit? Because it's a great thing. And, we're grateful here in the village. Again, you guys, I don't think get enough credit for that. And that's not a very visible thing sometimes. And so I would love to give you the opportunity to talk about it.
Certainly, I'll jump in here.
Absolutely.
We just concluded our 10th annual Afognak Youth Charity Golf Tournament in partnership with NVPL and NVA.
Awesome.
And it was a fantastic day. And since the golf tournament was initiated, tournament has contributed over $500,000 to both tribes for youth programs.
Amazing.
So we've set, collectively the bar, and we're looking to do more. This year, we raised $145,000, and we'll take the expenses out of that, and then NVA distributes to both tribes from there based on our MOU. But I just have to say it was a very special day. We had Keegan Randall, who's an Olympic gold medalist, who was our keynote speaker, and she just brought such a positive energy of achievement and overcoming a lot of obstacles in her own leadership. And she's pouring back into youth, into getting them exposed to cross-country skiing. So a lot of healthy youth types of activities. But we also, have our chairs usually attend, and Chair Christy over the years, Chair Alicia this year, and the opportunity to hear Alutiiq language spoken and even sung this year at the banquet was amazing. Alicia shared a unity song honoring Keegan and all those who have poured in. And we also had a bidding war this year initiated by Director Marcy, I have to say, on the Kodiak Brown Bear Center special raffle. So the energy was just amazing, but it is a gift and volunteers every year to come to that. So we are very honored and we'll continue doing that and reach out again. I know a number of the artists here in the community have donated raffle items through the years, and we really appreciate that. But it's an honor to give back through that way to all that
Absolutely.
you folks are doing with respect to children and families.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll add, both Native Village of Afognak and Native Village of Port Lions have been receiving $50,000 as an annual unrestricted donation from Afognak Native Corporation.
Very
We
cool.
also give 30,000 or have been giving 30,000 a year to the Alutiiq Museum, which then in turn benefits both tribes with cultural programming and research. And
Absolutely.
so it has a much farther reach. And then we have our information meeting. So we host a community gathering that is for all shareholders, in our 4 locations. So we always do one in Port Lions. And I think you're wanting to talk at some point today about the 50th anniversary,
Yes.
which we will be holding here in Port Lions.
Oh, really? Oh, yay.
Yeah, so that's coming up this next year. And, we have internships that we also contribute. So staff, we opened an office here a number of years ago, back when I was executive vice president. And so some employment opportunities. We also have our land security officers are based out of this office, or not this building, but in Port Lions.
Sure.
I don't know, am I missing anything else that people want to highlight?
I don't think about the donation, more monetary contributions, but I would like to add that it's always been our position and our desire to have unity within the region. And so we, the 3 of us, the 2 tribes and ANC as the village corporation, get together at least a couple times a year to learn about the challenges, what's going on in the communities and how do we best serve our people all together. So it's just been important for us to continue to build those relationships and to ensure that we have strong relations together.
For sure. No. And I can speak to that. My program in particular has benefited directly, for example, from some of the golf tournament funds that are set aside to help with children's activities. And this is one of them. And it's been a great help. We've been able to, do activities like get them lunch and stuff like that, and have it sort of flown in from Kodiak and kind of have a special thing that way. And then any other kind of little things that are related to that program involving the children. And so, yes, Marcy.
Oh, I was just going to say that regarding the golf tournament, just in case there's people out there who golf and are going to be watching this, you want to sign up next year, because everybody that comes, they say it is the most fun, the best golf tournament.
Oh, really?
And
Oh,
it is.
neat.
It's a joy to meet everybody. And also, Malia, I just want to say thank you for bringing that up, because Hal doesn't know what I bid on that yet.
Well, were you the winning bidder?
Yes, she was.
Yes, she was. All right. Way to support the community and the kids.
That's right. No, I love it. That's awesome. So I look forward to that for sure, and make sure you get it in there in time for sure. Excellent.
I want to add too, in addition to those sort of annual contributions and advocacy, we do have some one-off donations that the tribe also asks for from time to time. We've traditionally been sponsoring, contributing to the 4th of July picnic or 4th of July parade. Just recently, we made a donation to the church for painting the church this
Absolutely.
year. So
no, we appreciate that. That definitely needed some work, and so we're grateful for that. And so, like I said, we don't hear these things a lot, very much in the village, and so I really am happy that you all have the opportunity to talk about these things, because they do have an impact in our community specifically.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been impacted positively on my end as well, doing this language program and producing this show. And so really great stuff. I really appreciate that. So next, I'd like to talk a little bit about background, a little bit about how you all got into leadership roles, and maybe a little bit of history, whatever you're comfortable with sharing. You're more than welcome to take it away here.
Right on. Well, I graduated from Kodiak High School, and my dad was at the time president and CEO of Natives of Kodiak.
Okay.
And so I grew up watching him do that. I think at about age 10, when I was 10 years old, he had previously been a commercial fisherman.
Okay.
And so I grew up on boats. And then
Okay.
he started working for the city government. He was a building inspector. He worked for a period of time with, I know I'm going on my dad, but it's all relevant.
Sure.
You know, it sort of builds this community service. You know, I grew up with talking on the daily about what was happening in our community, issues that he was engaged with. He was part of the early ANCSA discussions and the formations of the corporations.
Wow.
And so that was something always present in my mind.
Right.
And I went off to school first in Anchorage and then down in Tucson, Arizona. And I have a bachelor's in English, a master's of fine arts in creative writing fiction from there. And then I later got a PhD from University of Alaska Fairbanks in Indigenous Studies and education. I've also done the ANELP program through APU in executive leadership, sort of a quarter of a way towards an MBA.
Oh, really?
And then I have the Alutiiq language certificate in speaking and teaching our
That's
language. So I really love school. I got I got a lot of education.
Sure.
But when I graduated from my master's program, I came back to Alaska and I was recruited out of Anchorage to write a grant with Afognak Native Corporation. And it was right when the board was reconstituting the native village of Afognak Tribal Council.
Okay.
And so we were successful in achieving that grant. It was an Administration for Native Americans grant. And then they said, well, we also have a BIA grant we just got, and we'd really love it if you could come and be the tribal administrator.
Oh, cool.
So that was my first. I'd never thought about going into tribal government, executive leadership, never in a million years. I was a writer.
Right.
I was artistic. I never thought that I would go into that form of leadership.
Mm.
And I did that for 3 years. And during that time ran Dig Afognak, took that on over from the corporation and transformed it into a youth culture camp and was really active in grant writing. And so that's how my leadership growth was, the mentorship of Afognak Native Corporation board members who became tribal council members who told me, this is what your grandma would like you to do. My grandma passed away when I was young and had Alzheimer's, and she lost her voice when I was about 5.
Really?
And so she lived until I graduated from high school, like right in the middle of high school. But hearing all of those elders tell me, this is what we need you to do.
Right.
That's what motivates me and led me from that. And I have had other leadership roles, but I don't need to dominate. I want to talk about the early times and the motivations to pursue higher education. And thankfully, the corporation, not just Afognak, but Koniag and Natives of Kodiak helped fund all that, you know. So they invested in me. I have to give back.
For sure. No, I'm grateful. We appreciate that attitude. And for any of those watching, we've got a great group of leaders here, and definitely something to take away from that and to learn from. And I'm grateful. So thank you for that, Alicia. Anybody else would like to talk about that?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I know I tend to talk a lot.
No, it's
but
fun.
Alicia talks more.
It's so true.
And I just want to say that for me personally, it was somebody seeing something in me that I didn't see myself. So it was like being the secretary for the bilingual with the school district and saying, Marcy, what are you doing behind this desk? You're this close to your degree, go get it.
Yes.
So I get it. And then I come back and she's like, Marcy, there's going to be a cohort for type B. You go interview for it. So I did it. And then so I managed like Jugi preschools and a non-walk preschool. I was the head of the Indian education program and migrant ed for the school district. But I will say, and this is embarrassing to say, especially if people from Mat-Su-Bro School District might be listening, I really enjoyed it. But in my heart of hearts, I really wanted to be working with people, just people from home. I mean, and I know it's everybody matters, everybody counts, but I love just the impact that we can make here
Sure,
for our
absolutely.
people.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And for me, leadership, I guess I got tired of bossing myself around all these years, but, it all started basically when I would ask questions, and then I started asking questions for other shareholders that didn't want to. And a lot of times, it's hard speaking in front of people,
Sure.
and I understand that, but
Absolutely.
that's how I kind of, got into when I was younger. I thought I was going to be a pilot here. I had a plane for a few years. I did herring spotting, and I almost didn't survive that, but I did.
Right.
So the boat was a lot safer place for me to be. And commercial fishing, as long as I have, but I've just said this the other day we had a meeting when I was on the boat there, but it might sound foolish, but I still love my job. And now I'm able to take the time to be able to do this for shareholders. And I just want to be a voice, especially for the local ones, because I see them a lot, and sometimes they might ask something of me or tell me things that maybe I don't want to say repeat again.
Sure.
But at least I'm able to listen, and I know certain things you can't act on. I mean, you can't, with 9 board, one person can't change anything, but they could certainly put the bug in
Sure.
in the other's ear. But for concerns for somebody, which I guess I'm not afraid to maybe ask the uncomfortable question, and that's the reason why I'm I guess more thankful to be able to see the whole aspect of this. These last, especially having a meeting on a boat. We were out fishing, and I took like an hour and a half off, and it was beautiful. And so a lot of the people that were on the team's meeting, they were able to see the background and notice we were on the boat. And actually Marcy was out they were out on their boat at the same time.
Yeah.
But
nice.
yeah, how
That's
times
fun.
have changed. It's that does make it nice. However,
Yeah.
when you're looking for jumpers and the crew might be on their phones, but other than that, it is nice to have that, especially the contact when you could speak to anybody now, which
Right.
before the satellite phone was nice, but everything's so much, I'm thankful for it, I guess. But anyway, as far as, leadership, I want to do what I can mainly for our shareholder. I mean, all the shareholders, if I can.
Sure.
I know it's not possible, but I'd like to do what I can for everyone there.
Absolutely.
And thank you for doing this, though, Jesse. You're doing a
Awesome.
pretty darn good
Awesome.
job over there.
I appreciate it. Well, and you mentioned doing what you love, and that's sort of a rare thing. Not all of us get to do what we love to do, and to be able to do that's a blessing, absolutely. And I can say, for me personally, this is one of the things, with my history with music and production and these type in technology. I love it. I honestly do. And so if you love your job, you'll never work a day, right? And so I absolutely relate with that. So thank you for that, Tom. I appreciate it. Did you, Christine, did you want to mention something on that?
Certainly. Well, life's kind of a crazy journey. I mean, there are those younger people in high school that know they want to be a doctor or a dentist, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something, but wasn't sure what that looked like. And I was living in Anchorage, where a lot of the opportunity is for employment, and I worked out at South Central Foundation out at the Alaska Native Medical Center. And kind of like Marcy was mentioning, I had a supervisor that really pushed me out of my comfort zone. And so I started at an entry-level position, and she encouraged me to apply for, a higher role. And I found myself in my young 20s, supervising, adults that were a lot older than me.
Right.
And so it really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and really challenged me. And I'm very, very grateful. Actually, I reflect back to my first boss, and I'm really grateful for all that she taught to me. And I think it's just so important now for us here in leadership roles to remember that, and to give back to, the youth that are trying to find their way in life, and to encourage and to challenge them to, to have courage,
Absolutely.
And for ANC, for my leadership with ANC, I did a fairly short-term intern back, I don't even know what year that was, maybe 2011 or so. And I remember being in the building, the facility in Anchorage, and thinking to myself, I really want this corporation to reflect our home and our people.
Mm.
And it was quiet, like it was just, really quiet in there. And so I kind of carried that with me. And in 2016, I was encouraged by a couple of members of the board to submit my name into the hat for
Awesome.
and to go for election on the board. And
Sure.
so I did, and it has been one of the most rewarding opportunities and experiences in my life to be able to give back to our family of shareholders.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for that so much. It struck me because ultimately, leadership is about service. I believe anyway. And I'm hearing that a lot from you folks. And so this is leadership. So I appreciate that. Miss Malia.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm sorry.
Jess.
I'll
No,
shut
that's
up.
good. I was definitely raised, to try to leave a place better than you found it. And so that's, I think, what the calling is. And just in my own education and professional journey, had the opportunity to go to different countries to really understand how tribal nations, indigenous communities were thinking about leadership development, and to try to absorb that. So how do we, build from our values? How do we build sustainable economies? How do we think about our rights and responsibilities in the homelands that we come from? And so with having those opportunities, it's a responsibility then to try to pay that forward. In some of the conversations we have with our young people, our interns, the idea of, a lot of times decision making, and I certainly see it around this board table and in other leadership circles,
Right.
there's not always a clear right answer. There is a choice to be made and a decision to be made, but then being able to bear the consequences of those decisions and the benefits, right? And trying to find that balance.
Right.
But that, in these leadership roles, it's not always a clear-cut answer. It's trying to make the best decision based on your values, based on what information you have, and then being willing to carry that responsibility forward to the next point in time and hoping that you are leaving it a little better, than you found it. So I think I'm just fascinated by how other communities develop leadership models and how we can help this next generation leave it a little bit better for what they're going to be dealing with ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's certainly hopeful to hear. And for you folks at home, this is really good stuff on leadership and service and responsibility. I think a lot of these things sometimes fall by the wayside, especially with this generation. I'm not saying all, but we can see the fruits of that, and we can also see the lack of that as well. And so I think it's very important that we're doing this, and very key to, our youth, to teach them how to be leaders and how to take responsibility and how to have courage, like you mentioned, Christy. And so excellent stuff. I really appreciate that. Next, I'd like to talk about the 50th anniversary. Are we okay on time first, guys? Are we okay? All right, we're about 34 minutes, so just want to double check with you. But I found out that I didn't realize that in 1977, the natives of Afognak Inc. and the Port Lions Native Corporation merged to form ANC, and that was a bit of an interesting fact for me that I didn't know. And so apparently most Native corporations have passed their 50th anniversary, right? And so with ANC being a bit younger and being merged from those two local corporations to form ANC is really interesting. And so I know I've talked to some employees about this, and they're excited about this 50th anniversary coming up, and they really want to make it special for the shareholders, right? And so anybody who'd like to talk about that or chime in, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'll just share with you a little bit of the process as it's evolving here, but I
Sure.
think we're all super excited. So typically there's a committee of the board called the Governance Committee that will help shape any of the informational and for annual meetings that are coming up.
Okay.
And so we do have a meeting coming up here in this next week where we're presenting essentially kind of the menu of opportunities under the 50th anniversary. And so there's kind of three themes, if you will, at this point,
Okay.
although they might evolve.
Sure.
And I'm somebody who needs alliteration because as I get older, it's harder to remember some things. So we're talking about gathering. So there are elements of the
Okay.
50th that will be about how we bring people together and how special. The 50th anniversary traditionally is called the golden anniversary. And so
Okay.
we're certainly thinking about some themes there, but there'll be some elements here in Port Lions, but also how we bring folks together. And this year we've been really leading up to the 50th, doing these cultural connections where we are trying to encourage and provide opportunities for our shareholders and families to create regalia, to do some drum making,
Okay.
to learn some song as we practice some of our culture and have an opportunity then to gather around some of that on the 50th. We also have gifting. So in addition to gathering, we're looking at how we typically at a shareholder meeting, you'll have a gift, right, that goes out to anybody who participates, but some other larger scale or more specific types of gifts that may go out. And
Fun.
it may be community-based gift
Oh,
in
sure.
addition to individual participant gifts
Sure.
that way.
That
So
sounds fun.
wait for it, how that might shape up. And then, because I needed another G, we have gabbing. So that's more how we talk about our communications and how we pull together communications. We have a number of shareholders who have never set foot in Alaska. And so we have to think about connection
Right.
across space and place, but helping them connect back home, right, I think is really critical. So a couple of years ago, we did a keynote video
Oh,
that featured some of our early board members, and we're going to keep with
Oh,
that
fun.
theme, but package some of the videos and work that we have done over time, as well as have some new ones
okay.
to add, as well as hopefully some announcements about campaigns or investments that
Sure.
are going to carry forward. So not everything's going to be complete, right, on the
Right.
50th. It's about how we carry forward.
Mm.
So that's some of the thinking at this point around
Very
the 50th
cool.
and how that hopefully will roll out. But we can't give away all of the
Sure,
details
sure.
just yet, right? We gotta stick around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, thank you for that, Malia. Did anybody else want to mention anything about that? I know you covered it very well, Malia.
I would just like to mention that going back to the merger of the two, I can remember visiting with Carl Ellison a while back, and he was saying that a lot of them thought, this makes sense. We are all the same people. We need to be united. We should be together. And I want to say when they did the vote, because each corporation had to vote. Do we want to merge or not?
Okay.
And it was, I want to say that I think there may have been out of everybody, maybe 6 that didn't want to.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think that's pretty impressive.
Sure.
The vast majority.
Yeah.
Mm.
hmm
Wow. Interesting. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, Marcy. Okay. I don't want to cut anybody off. Okay, great. All right. So next, and I know you guys have hit on this a little bit already, but if there are any initiatives or projects that ANC is working on that you would like, your membership, the shareholders, or our viewers to know, absolutely is a good time to talk about that.
So I know we wanted to talk a little bit about the internship.
Oh yes,
more.
we will get to that
Got that.
next.
Okay.
I promise.
In addition to that, I would say that our new CEO has really impressed upon us the importance of looking at more grant involvement. And I know
Okay.
that both tribes have expressed a real interest in joining forces and
Mm.
building or that regional unity and that impact around that front. So we recently heard from NVPL that the rising cost of fuel is really affecting everybody here,
Mm.
whether it be individual households, people with small businesses
Yeah.
across the board. And so ANC actually just submitted a grant related to our fuel tank upgrade out at Danger Bay.
Oh, really?
It was our first Department of Energy grant. We, no guarantee, but we are trying to learn more about some of that sector because we know that energy is a huge priority. So really thinking together about real challenges that are happening, as well as what are some economic opportunities in the region. We'll touch on this more in the internship, but there are a number of kind of what we call crucial conversations that are facing the corporation and every organization. And so trying to bring our interns into thinking with us about opportunities that may emerge and get that insight of the young people, right, and the next generation on some of these initiatives. So I think there's the grant making piece. I know there's some conversation around the native village, Fognak village and its historical status. And so can we maybe think about linking arms on talking about a project like that together? There are some concerns around the erosion of the grave sites at the old village. And so when we think about some different opportunities locally and in terms of our cultural sites, I think there's a lot. I would say the last one might be around lands. Obviously, the boardwalk was a wonderful opportunity and investment. Thinking about some of those 17B easements, right, that provide the public access to lands, but how can we think with the community about the value that those kinds of spaces add? With NVA, there's a need for evacuation. There was a lot of tsunami and earthquake activity right around this time last year when campers were out there.
Right.
So opportunities to really look at land management in a cooperative way, which I think our people have always done, right? But where can we bring the federal government into some of that where it's appropriate, but also leverage our unique responsibilities as landowners and land users in that context. So.
No, I appreciate that. And yes, you mentioned, fuel and heating costs and the volatility of that, especially in recent times. And that is something that we definitely feel out here. What's interesting, one of the things that maybe can be looked into in several facets is heat pumps, right? And actually, our building here at NVPL is heated and cooled with heat pumps, and we have air conditioning. Kind of the first summer we've had that, and they work great. They work especially in a moderate climate. They really perform well, and a normal boiler or even a Toyo will be around like 98% efficient, whereas a heat pump can be 100, 200, 300, even up to 400 in special cases. But it's much more energy efficient because I'm sorry, I'm getting a little into the details, the weeds a little bit with it, but it's fun, but it's a good thing, I think, worth looking into, because I know a lot of people feel the crunch from that, and it uses electricity and refrigeration systems rather than fuel. And so I know I'm tired of dealing with diesel fuel, but I appreciate that. I know we're at about 44. If I could just ask a few more things. Are we okay on time, guys? You got to get going. Okay, great.
I think, did Christy have another?
Oh no, we could move on.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Next, I wanted to let you all talk about the internship program that ANC has, and I've seen it over the years. And to have a space here in Port Lions where you have interns is really nice to see, and it's even nicer to see these interns turn into full-fledged members of, for example, ANC or a native corporation. To see them kind of make that their career is something really special, and I think it's really cool. So take it away, please.
Yeah, I want to start with that and then have Malia tell you more about the program. But both Marcy and myself and Malia, we happened to be in the Anchorage office while they were preparing for the golf tournament. We participated and volunteered for the golf tournament. The interns were there. They were holding a luncheon the day before.
Cool.
And so we got to meet all 7 of the interns, some of them on video, but most in the Anchorage boardroom. And it was just so exciting to see the energy, the curiosity, the interests that they have, the degrees that they're seeking. And that we could offer internships in Port Lions. So I'll pass it off to Malia.
Very cool.
Sure. I'll just quickly highlight a couple of the features that we've added to the internship. I mentioned crucial conversations. So every week we give the interns a real life, real issue that's facing the corporation. And we ask them to prepare over the course of the week as if they were presenting to the board of directors. How would you advise the directors to make a decision in relation to this? One example, this year we were really excited to be able to take a couple of them out to the hatchery at Katoy Bay to get to see that along with some of our staff in Kodiak who'd never been out there.
Sure.
We lease some of that facility to KRAA, and they just came back just wide-eyed, seeing almost 2 million, fry being developed. But then we turned that into a crucial conversation because some of our time at AFN, what we've learned is that there are some regions that are not supportive of hatcheries and wanting to understand. In some cases, it's because anything man-made, their region may be opposed to, which is their, sovereign right to stand against. But we wanted our, current and future leaders to understand why we support a hatchery, what that does to the idea to take eggs from a Fognac lake, right? And that is feeding the salmon, out into the rest of Alaska and beyond. So they had a crucial conversation around what should ANC's, Fognac Native Corporation's position be on continuing to support hatcheries into the future. And we try to just set them up so that they're not all, a lot of them have very strong feelings one way or the other, but we try to get them to explore both sides. Another one had to do with data centers. It's a big conversation across Alaska, and some of them were very well aware and others were not. Some were very anti any sort of AI. So we had really rich conversations this summer about technology, about culture, language, a lot of the work that you have helped to lead as we think about what's appropriate for economic development and the fact that in our shareholder base, we don't have one way of thinking, right? We have a lot of diversity as our board members can attest to on that front. So we're really trying to bring them into that, but also expose them. There are actually a group of them coming down to Kodiak this next week to take a tour of our lands because we think it's really important for them to get some exposure. So we're open to more ideas and insights about how we can keep growing the internship. But I think it's really about future kind of cultural decision-making, but leadership and professional skills. That's another piece. They're all placed with different departments so that they get some exposure to what a working day is over the course of 8 weeks. So there's lots to accomplish in a very short period, but it's a real honor to see their energy.
And this year, how many did you and where?
Yeah, we've had 7 this year. We target for 8, and we had 8, but he decided the 8th one decided to go fishing, which we totally support and appreciate. But we had 5 in Anchorage and 1 in Kodiak and 1 in Port Lions. But 1 in Anchorage came back and forth to Port Lions. So we like to say we almost had 2 here in Port Lions, which is wonderful. But they all got to be in legal, corporate affairs, finance, shareholder records, all different divisions. And they all also get to work together. They'll be presenting a capstone next week, capstone project, where they have been asked to identify a challenge or a problem at the corporation and bring a solution. So they have a 10-minute presentation where they're going to have to come up with a solution. And we've invited our board of directors to sit in on that. And we're excited to see 3 high schoolers and 3 college interns as well. So
that's fun. I like that. Group. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I was taught that, if you have a problem, great. We can appreciate that, but what solution do you offer to that? And I think that's really important, an important part of that process. That's pretty neat. So thank you for that. Yes, Marcy.
Well, I would just like to add to that when we were sitting in there, one thing, and this is another plug for what we do with our corporation, but the college interns, they are also benefiting from our we have an amazing scholarship program. So and they're very sizable. And it was just really refreshing for me because being on the scholarship committee, I was able to read a lot of their essays. And so to see them in action is just so rewarding. So if you're a Fognac Native shareholder and about to go to college, don't forget to apply for a scholarship.
Yes.
Excellent. Great. I appreciate that.
Yes. Or a vocational school.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
That's in much higher demand these days, actually. Right. And so I have my son, little Jess, not so little anymore, but he's attending HVAC vocational training, and so that's a good route to go as well. I know the country has a real need for trades right now, but either route, it can be success.
Well,
for sure.
actually, I'm going to throw in another plug. This last year with the Scott, we did not have one person put in for voc ed, and
Really?
and there's money's available for it, and it is. I mean, there's a big need, and I'm really a strong advocate of education, no matter what kind. So,
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Well, I just have a couple more questions, and they're sort of broad, but this is for sort of younger folks or maybe people that are interested in these type of things. So this one would be, in the sense of leadership, if you could look back and give your younger self advice, what would it be?
I guess I would say something that is like reaffirming that I made good choices. I hopped around in what I was studying. I majored in maybe 4 different majors before I settled.
Okay.
And I felt really guilty about that. Like
Really?
I felt that I had failed in something and had to choose something different. And I think that every piece that every partial attempt that I made or every job that I did and then changed my mind on, I learned something from that. And so to remind myself now, and to, if I'd had somebody say to me back then, it's okay to try things, and you will use this information. You will use these relationships that you're building. This knowledge will still come in at later points in your life, building who you are as a leader, as a parent, as a coworker. So I think it's a journey.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Appreciate it, Alicia. Tom, what do you think there? What would you tell your younger self?
Well, a couple of years ago when Nick, the maintenance at the school, had to step away because his daughter was senior year, I filled in a lot for him. I was the lunch lady, everything at the school there. But I think back, a couple of young kindergartners would come in every morning, and they'd be like, "Good morning, Mr. Tom," and could you do this for me or do that? And I often thought when I was younger, I don't think I'd speak to an old man, but no, I wish maybe I would have been more vocal when I was younger. And then, you're always going to have failures in life. You should never let a failure turn you down. I mean, if it happens, you got to keep moving forward. And, I wish life was easy. Well, life would be pretty darn boring if everything, if everybody thought the same way or acted the same way. But no, I guess just the fact that just be more assertive and not, don't be afraid to speak up or stand up for somebody else too. I guess, and one thing too is that maybe I would definitely always like to stand up for another person. I guess that's one of the things I've in the past I've done that, and I just, if you have friends or even your family or your husband, wife, you always want to have their back, and that's one thing I would always. I wished I could have been more assertive when I was younger.
Great. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, there's this there's so many adages out there, but concerning failure and success, one successful businessman said that success is moving from failure to failure without a lack of enthusiasm, right?
I love
So,
that.
it's true. I think we learn more from our failures than our triumphs, right?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that, Tom. Thank you. Marcy.
I would just say, it's probably hard to believe, but for me, it would be not being afraid to speak up. Just when I was younger, to know that what I have to say matters. It matters just as much as the next person, and what you have to say matters just as much as the next person. And I also think that part of it is, it doesn't matter if you have this little lull in your journey, because I spent a lot of time. I didn't graduate. I didn't do the 4 years right away. I spent time living life learning, and there's a lot to be said from living life. And like Daddy always said, you can get your education, but don't lose your common sense. So I think that's
Good point.
I just think that's important, because I did not get my first degree until I was like 44 years old.
Great.
And so it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, it's being to persevere. When you want to do something, just persevere.
Excellent. Excellent.
Well, I think I would have two things to offer to my younger self, or to, and anybody who's younger listening here today. And the first kind of resonates with what Tommy and Marcy have already shared. And I don't know if it's the way that we grew up culturally, or that we just had less population, we had more space, if you will. But I don't recall having to really have to speak out and have a voice until maybe my 20s, and then it's something new. And so I think I would say choose courage over comfort, because if you want to live an exceptional life, you have to take risks, and you have to get yourself out there. And even if you feel like you're you're unsure, or you're unsettled, or you're for whatever reason afraid, or you think you might not be able to do it, you just have to believe, and you just have to put your foot forward and keep moving forward, and know at the end of the day everything's going to be okay. And then the second one is to just have some grace for yourself. A lot of times I think we're really hard on ourselves, and you go through life, and you get knocked down, and you dust yourself off, and you keep going. And I don't think that there's such thing as failure. I think that there's a lot of lessons, and the most important thing is that we learn from those lessons, and we find the grit and the grace for ourselves to keep moving forward.
For sure. No, I appreciate that. And I'm with the grace aspect. I know I need it. And forgive as you've been forgiven, right? So I appreciate that. Thank you, Christine. Miss Molly.
All good insights there. I think one of the things I've learned, and what I would say to my younger self, would be to claim your mentors. That there's so much learning. I love to learn, and to, go up to someone, and that may be, really intimidating, but to say, hey, I really love how you did this, that, or the other. I would love to learn more from you. And you'd be amazed how people are really wanting to share their knowledge.
Right.
And so, reaching out and asking people to help you along the way. I also think later in life now, the idea that I always felt like my faith had to be separate from my career pursuits, and I kind of compartmentalize those things.
Sure.
But the older that I get, and maybe it's, now having a family, I am really trying to incorporate that more intentionally into my leadership. And it has really transformed, I think, just my way of looking at the world, the way of looking at challenges,
Sure.
To know that there's so much bigger than me, and that I can ask for help, and look at, again, legacy down the road, that it's not just of me, it's of a broader set of energies
Right.
going forward. So prayer and faith have been something that I wish I would have thought about integrating more sooner,
Sure.
not just keeping to the side. So that's what I would advise my younger self.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that wholly. And, my last question was going to be, what advice would you give somebody interested in leadership? And I think you guys kind of covered that all right. You hit both of them there. So I'll leave that. If there's any other closing statements or anything you'd like to leave the viewers with. Yes.
Sorry, I do have one. And I don't know if all of our shareholders are aware of this. And I love this about our corporation. And I have had elders say, the minute we stop doing this, God's going to stop blessing us. Is we start our meetings with prayer. We ask for his guidance, how to make decisions, and we end our sessions with prayer. And I think we are a people of faith, and God does bless us and
Absolutely.
has blessed us.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Marcy. I appreciate it. I second that wholly. Okay. Did anyone have anything else they'd like to mention before we close out?
just want to say thank you for this opportunity and for all that you do for our youth and for our community, Jess. We really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's like I said, this is a really fun one for me, and it's cool because I get to have a lot of great conversations with folks like you guys, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you for that. All right, folks. Well, that will do it. We've had a great interview, great discussion here with some ANC board members and Miss Malia, Senior VP, and we're grateful that they took the time to come and join us. So with that, give you guys a round of applause. All right, folks, that'll do it for episode 28. We thank you once again. We hope we added some value to your day, and take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Oh, that was funny too.